back to Education 3000. I am Noemi Paimal, the founder of Education 3000. We have this beautiful series of videos on the new education. And hola, hello, Dave.
Hi, Naomi. Hi, everybody. Everything's good. Hi, everybody watching at home. I'm David Fegan, the International English Program Coordinator at Education 3000. And as Naomi said, this is our level 1 series of videos co-recreating education. You can check them all out on our YouTube channel, which is in the description below. We're getting towards the end of the series now, of this level 1 series. We will be doing a second series, but what are we going to look at in the video today?
It's fun. Today it's games, and it's called Game 3000, a new generation of games. So I'm very excited to have this special video. And who doesn't want games? Even adult. My grandfather, he loved games. Children, young people, it's part of the human being. We are ludic person, a ludic humanity. And when we reconnect with that, oh, education is so much fun.
And it's probably something that maybe, as a teacher myself, I notice, you know, sometimes students say, we want to play more games, or we want to do, you know, something that's a bit more interactive. So we're not just talking about, you know, sometimes, yeah, playing a game, but there's a logic, there's a purpose to this. And it is something that students, and especially children, always ask for a little bit more, especially if their teacher maybe just talks and talks and talks and talks.
Definitely.
And talks.
We have to stop this kind of generation of education. That's why we have education with 3 O's, by the way, because we want to show, we talk about something different, new education, education with consciousness that really attend the human being and the planet, the society, with vision and fun. If it is not fun, no, it's not sustainable. Don't count on me.
It's not sustainable, did you say, Naomi?
Yeah.
If it's not fun, it's
I
not
have a
sustainable.
hard time with this word. Sustainable. Yes, this word.
All right, so let's get started, Naomi.
So you see, fun. This is what I want to see. I want to see the smile on the face of the children. I want to listen, laugh and move and have a blast. This is education. The rest, no, it was memory, maybe train robots. I don't know, but it was not a human being. We are meant to be happy and full of action and creativity and care and love. Neuroplasticity, why is it important?
Well, it's the property that emerges from the nature and functioning of neurons when they establish communication.
So more than the number of neurons or cells, what we want is a connection between all of them. And that way you have almost the brain of a genius. And with fun and with games, we get more connections.
And Naomi, is there a certain, sorry to cut you off. Is there a certain age where it's easier to develop more neuroplasticity? For example, are children maybe more, are they able to develop this quicker?
From the womb, from before you are born. So it's so important. And then from 0 to 9 months, this is crucial. So one day we will do a special program only on this perinatal period, which is absolutely important for the human being. And all ages are important, I would say, but especially little ones. And we want all these beautiful neurotransmitters. We already talked about them, but just as a review, we want all of them, and they are the neurotransmitters of joy. It's pleasant, satisfaction, and of course, your brain will have a long-term memory and is more creative.
So yeah, we've got serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, irisin, and oxytocin.
Tal cual. Yes. And dopamine is very important because you have more dopamine when you work in teamwork. When the action is shared and you have all the interaction with people. That's why nowadays games are more like not so competitive, but all cooperative games. That's a new trend, and it's extremely important as well because we want a cooperative society. So this is what we want with the Game 3000. And that's why we put this name, Game 3000, to co-create a new generation of games.
Yeah, so it's an Education 3000 program, and they're games that combine well-being, fun, learning, companionship, favoring neuroplasticity, and increasing the level of consciousness.
So that's why I put companionship, and that's why I put this brain with all this level of consciousness. So we just amplify, we can make it bigger. And this is what we want as a human being as well.
And so Games 3000 are also based on a few methods: fun learning, bits of intelligence, and NeuroFlash 3000 methods. Can you give us just a brief summary maybe of those, Naomi, why they influenced the development of the Games 3000 program?
Like architect Oscar Sanmache, because he put all the universal geometry into it, and like universal laws and a lot of ethic and personal development. Dr. Makoto Shishida and Glenn Domad, because it's very fast, so they use the right hemisphere of the brain, and this is very important in education to balance the two hemispheres. And Noé Sferron, because he works with the frontal lobe. And the picture, you might say, what kind of game is that? They did the games themselves, the children. And it was in my house, so I do remember. And they spent hours and hours just creating the game, not talking about playing the game afterwards. So it was a real blast, and it was so creative, and they had so many ideas. So it will be a self-built game, self-invent games, and these kind of things. It's very pedagogical, you see. And it's Bolivia. It was made with recycled thing. We are not talking about money. We are talking about creativity and consciousness.
And the other thing is you're sort of giving them control, right? Which sometimes children feel like, no, you can't do that until create the game. You guys make it. They've got the keys to the car. Perfect.
And you know, my son, Matt, he was making games all the time when he was small. He was making he was making maps. And I remember all the little brothers and sisters, I had 4, were playing with him for hours and hours with nothing, with a board and pencil, and they will cut everything. But we have more games, but that's one of the games I like, the one you do yourself. And all the games, this is the idea, are 2 words: peace, culture, no violent communication, team building, have ethic. I mean, really another concept of the game. Not to win and then, wow, and the other one is crying because he lost. No, this was the old energy. It was the past. It was the last year, last century, last millennium.
And going back to your son, Naomi, who obviously I know very well, we can see the effect of him doing that is probably reflected a little bit in the fact that now, because he has his own English teaching business in Bolivia, and he designs all his workbooks.
Everything.
Which his students are so happy as well. I've seen his workbooks. I've also done classes for Matt. Also, if you think about sometimes as well, like he organizes treks into the mountains. So he'll go onto Google Maps, like, I think we can go here. And then he takes a bunch of people. He's not trying to make any money off it. But in terms of, you know, this idea of creating a better society, taking 10 people out into the mountains to go walking around, probably they wouldn't be able to do it themselves. That there's 10 happy people there after that, you know? So we can sort of see as well the relevance to how that affects later life as well, our education earlier when we're children.
You're like the proud mother, no? No, it's not because it's my son, but just the example just pop out.
Yeah. And we
benefits,
can see
like a lot of benefits, as you just mentioned with Matt.
So well-being as well, stress reduction,
Definitely.
Harmonic and creative environments, high academic performance. So we're not saying as well, like, oh, forget about, you know, learning or forget about your future. We understand the world that we live in. Where, you know, I'm a teacher as well. I prepare a lot of students for the TOEFL, for the IELTS. They can't sometimes fulfill their dreams without the piece of paper. So it's not just this hippie idea. No, high academic performance,
Correct.
Develop of an integrated brain and the neural network of the neocortex.
Yeah. The famous connection we really want, which is neuroplasticity.
Activation of the frontal lobes, a decrease
Remember, this
in
is
violence.
execution and humanism.
And that last point, sorry, I cut you off there, Naomi, a decrease in violence and bullying, and it meets the needs of today's children. Like we mentioned in a previous video, children are developing at a rapid rate. Before they said, oh, ADHD or ADD, no, they're just quicker. They're faster. They process things quicker. Exactly. And they need an education that reflects that.
And they want to have fun, and they're quick, and they don't want to be bored. But they are right. And we will support them and help them for years and years. Yeah, more benefits.
More benefits. So I didn't even realize. Develops emotional, intuitive, practical, and co-creative intelligence, among others. So they're not the only ones. Improves both physical and emotional health. Decreases ADD, hyperactivity, bulimia. And it's inclusive of children with special needs. So this is for all children, not just one type of child.
Yes, for everybody. And for the teachers and the parents, I want them to have fun as well.
So we've listed
we have different games. Remember I talked about the board game you do yourself, but we have a lot of other features. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, so some of the features of the Games 3000 program: integral, they're ecological, they use universal geometry. We also try to make these free to access because, like we've talked a lot about, creating a better society. So we want to create a fair and supportive economy. It's not like, oh, let's make these available for $100. No, they're free access. Games 3000 allow creativity and develops lateral thinking.
Yeah, lateral thinking. Here I put the cards, and this is for you because it's from Australia, from the First Nation people, or
so the Indigenous Australians.
People, yeah.
So the artwork.
And you can see how integral it is. You have art, you have history, cosmovision, personal development, because each card is a message for yourself, symbols. It's a game, you play it. So, and then you have the book you can read. So you learn about linguistics and how to read and write. So it's so complete. This is what I call an integral game. When you have not only throw dice and win. No. You learn so much about yourself, about culture, about the world. See? And this one, yeah, that's other characteristics I wanted to mention.
Yeah, so the last 4 characteristics that we've listed here: non-competitive. This program or these games are aimed at peace culture and ethics. They're transformable as well. So you can adapt them to your needs and to the children or to the adults. Everybody likes to play games, and they're multicultural. We can see there, Mayan dominoes.
Yes, it's Mayan dominoes. So you learn the dominoes, but you learn the Mayan numbers, and you learn cosmovision. You learn the meaning of each number. It's loaded of symbols. So that's a plus, you see. It's not like put 1 with 1 and 2 with 2. You learn so much. So again, an integral games and the multicultural games. And then you can make your own rules. It's transformable according to what you want to do with the game. This is from Guatemala. I bought it from Guatemala. And I thought, and you see all the symbols here. I mean, here and here you have all the symbols here. And it's all symbols can be one book. It's called Keen. It's amazing. It's so rich. Then let's see a couple of examples. So and we put different categories. It's under development, but please, I am dreaming to have them all on the website and concrete too.
And get in touch with us with some of your ideas as well, because we want to work together with everybody. It's not, just us. So if you've got any ideas, any comments, you can put them below, email us, message us on Facebook, because, if we work together, it's going to be much better than if it's just, Naomi and myself.
Definitely. It takes millions of people to change education around the world towards this beautiful education we want. You won't believe me, Dave, and you who are watching us, something they really lack from early age is geometry, but the real geometry, the perfect geometry was a piece of perfect, and they will resonate with the meaning of the shape and the numbers, because shape and numbers are related. And it can be flat or in volumes. That's why I put 2Ds and 3Ds. And this is thanks to Oscar Sanmache, the architect from Peru, who is helping a lot with the #1 category. We have more pictures, I think, for here. Yeah, that kind of games here. It's beautiful. Geometría del alma. Do you want to translate that one?
So geometry of the soul.
Arquetipos de nueva generación.
So archetypes of the new generation.
And these beautiful games here is not mine. We bought it actually. When you put all the round the circles, you get the flower of life. So it's cool, very cool.
And going back to that image, the geometry of the soul, you can see down in the bottom left corner, it says 3 to 90 years as the
yes!
age recommendation.
Good point. So I still fit. Yes, I have one more. This is little girl is from Bolivia, and you see those shapes absolutely perfect, and they combine perfectly in the size with each other. So you can make huge mandalas. And she was playing for hours, I remember. So simple. This came in from Oscar as well. Mandalas, they all love to paint mandalas, but remember, it's not only to paint like here, you can see, but you can make mandalas with your cup of tea or coffee and cream and chocolate, or on a stone. This is a stone that is painted, or with fruit and food. You can make many kind of mandalas. It's cool.
And if you think of even in like a practical sense as well, like if you go to a restaurant and they just throw the food on the plate, like it doesn't look very appetizing, but if there's a design there combined with, you know, quality, it's great.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I don't know if I want to eat it. I don't want to destroy it. And mandala with movement and sound and 3Ds. You can make mandalas in 3Ds, which is better for the brain because you have more synapses connecting. And you can add, of course, the sound, and you can move. So it's very complete to work with mandala. Oh, this one I love. I have to show you.
Please show us.
Look at that. You know what this? What it is?
It's half a roll of toilet paper, right?
Yes. You won't believe me. So you have your roll. You just smash it. You cut it so it's a square. Now it's a square. You make a triangle here, and you cut a little bit, or you make a thin mark. You do another triangle here, and what is going to appear? Magic. You have a beautiful pyramid. This is a tetrahedron. So next time you go to the bathroom, never throw away the toilet paper. You see this little game? They love it. It's so simple. What does it cost? Nothing. Again, it's not money. It's just fun and consciousness. You see, I go back to my my slides. But I wanted to show it. Okay, let's go to the next one. The famous board games, we already talked about it, and it has to be cooperative, meaning if you win, then you really win when you make everybody arrive at the final 2 and everybody complete the game. If not, you don't really win. So that way, you still have the emotion of be the first one, if that's okay. But at the end, you have to make sure that everybody, you have to give points and make sure everybody will go wherever they have to go in the game. And this is what I like with the cooperative board games. Nobody will cry at the end or feel bad. And the same with the society. It's a society where we can pool and help everybody. So see, they are very young here and they were playing with this game for hours. So it's not deficit of attention, because those two, they were supposed to have deficit of attention at school, but it's not true. When they lack something, they can do it hours and hours and hours and hours. So it's a false deficit of attention or attention deficit, and it's selective on the top of all. Meaning if they want, they can be focused. If they don't want, then forget it, they won't do anything. So I speak too fast. I have to calm down. I'm very emotional now when I like something. Video games. People, oh, I can hear the parents. What video games? No, but we can transform them.
How can we transform them? Because you've put there the word transcendental, which kind of means like, you know, going to a higher experience or a higher consciousness. So what do you mean by that?
We can switch the idea of the video games. And that actually the next video will be on gamification. It's not only to kill and sometimes it's extremely violent. No, we can have those games, these games where you have ethic involved, you are the co-creator of a new world. When you have more levels, each level is more with consciousness and more complicated, and you are challenged, but not with low, how do you say, low approach. Like for instance, when you have to kill everybody and you have points, it will be the opposite. When you don't kill anybody, you have the highest score. You have to reverse your culture and reverse.
So an example of that you made me think of is that in some cultures, right, like doctors get paid for keeping people healthy, and then they don't get paid when people get sick. So it's kind of a different way of looking at things, right?
Yeah, certain ways. I mean, it's switch completely. And this little guy is very good with games, so they can create their own games. And we will see on the next video all the programs we will recommend. It's part of their life. I mean, don't tell a kid, don't watch games, don't do games, but make sure it's good games and make sure it's balanced with nature and go outside and physical exercise. That's all. But this guy, I made an interview with him and I record him. And he said, this is part of my life. And the little sister, and of my life too. So it's...
I mean, like kids are going to play video games if they want to play. And if you say no as well to a child, they're going to want it more. I remember that when I was in primary school, Pokemon was the most popular thing. And I remember my parents were right, because I did get grumpy if I spent too long. But as well, like if I didn't play any video games, I wouldn't have understood any of the context. I couldn't really relate as well to the other people at school. And I was going to do it anyway. I was going to find a way to play. So, you know.
Sure, you found it. And then we can balance with games and activities that's really focused on environment and ecology. And that will balance as well. And they are very, they love this kind of thing. They have such a contact with nature. Sometimes we have to be aware of that. Here we can see personal development and meta languages games. That's all kind of games and activities where you know yourself better. It helps you to understand yourself and your inner world. So here we have this little girl is playing with a Maya calendar. She's organizing the kins and all the symbols of the Mayan people. Then here we have mandalas and a message. So you can play like cards. Here we have beautiful design from Algeria based on sacred geometry, which is very important in the personal development. We do recommend sacred geometry in all grades and all ages. Then we have, it's called multi-purpose or didactic games, and it includes apps and digital gamification. And here is like to learn all your subject, but through games and by yourself and at your own rhythm. Remember, some kids are extremely fast, others they need more time. And remember, 80% of the kids in general, they are self-taught or autodidact or didactic. So it's very good. And it can be fun too. And this one is very important. Remember, we talked so much about emotional intelligence. So we have a whole series only on emotional intelligence games.
And some benefits of emotional intelligence games: stress reduction, feeling of security and protection, increased self-esteem, energy transmission and strength, improvement of interpersonal relationships, and promotes the feeling of tranquility. And we've also got a little image down there, the power of hugs.
Yeah, it's both pedagogical and therapy, and we all need it. And it balances the nervous system. I mean, it's proved by neuroscience. We need that.
Your microphone, Naomi, is off.
That's it? Can you hear me?
So you were saying it's the power of hugs is proved by neuroscience, correct?
Yes. We can see here, no? The power of hugs balances the nervous system. So cool. And the more the merrier. By school subject, mind you, yes, of course we have school subject, but it has to be friendly, cooperative, and we have a very good academic level. Because some parents, they say, oh, if they play all the time, when are they going to learn? And the teacher saying, but they learn all the time. Like that. Yeah, that's enough of playing. You have to learn. This is cool. Those numbers, you transform them and they turn out in a robot or something. I thought it was so cool.
So as we said, all of these ideas, they're integral ideas. The education, it's an integral education that we're proposing. So we're not saying, forget about the academic level, like we mentioned. Here as well, we've got, what are these, archaeological cards or something like that, Naomi?
Yeah.
You're an anthropologist?
I bought this deck of cards in Egypt, and it was all about history, geography, all the art of Egypt in a deck of cards. And then you play and you learn all about Egypt at the same time. No pain, no nothing. And it's not true. No pain, no gain. It's not true. You have fun and you learn so easily. And you remember with the right brain, when you're happy, you can see once one card and you remember. You don't have to show again and again and do the class again and again. It's one shot. Here it's about history to the costumes and the dress and all that. And then they can disguise themselves. I mean, they can do the theater and they can
dress up.
Dress up, correct. And I thought it was so cool. And about literature, we really want the better literature, like where the heroes is really nice and knows how to handle peace, culture, and own emotions. And you have ethic and you have a goal, a clear goal, and then nobody is dying or the mother is dead or the grandmother is eaten by the wolf. No, this is from the past. Now we need something not based on fear, but on consciousness with good values. You see, this is a tale we made ourselves. And this drawing is, you won't believe it, it's from my daughter again. When she was 11 years old. So they were participating to the creation of the tale, both with the story, with the drawing, with to make the book. So that's integral as well. And of course, at the end of the story, everybody was happy and it was full of good ideas for your own life. Games just for peace, culture, and ethic. I mean, specifically. Like you can see here, it's in Spanish. Campaña por juegos y juguetes no violentos.
Yeah, campaign for games and toys that are not violent.
And juguemos sin
play
violencia.
Without violence. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there is a switch of culture. You reverse a culture of violence to a culture of peace by all those games. So then it's like, oh no, it's of course here it's peace. It's called a switch or reversing a culture. Talking about peace, look, this is a deck of cards. It's all about peace and you play. There is a bunch of trick to play in it. And it's all about quote about peace, symbols about peace. So you integrate easily all these concepts. You see, it's not talking about peace. It's like how do you integrate? It will sink in. It's a beautiful deck. Neuroflash, we will do another video on that with level 2. Remember, it's very fast with the right brain. and it's called Bits of Intelligence, or here it's a bits de hortalizas, it's vegetables, but you learn your vegetables in a very high speed. It's fun. 1 second per image. We will talk later. You can do the same with mathematics and reading and encyclopedic learning. And you can start from very early age. You can see like babies. And remember we talked about frontal lobe activation.
So here we've got an image as well that we looked at in one of our previous videos.
Yes.
But just as a reminder, Naomi, what's so special about this type of learning, or these kids in particular?
Because it will activate the frontal lobe, and it's called extraocular vision, but it's not only because it's sensational, it's cool. It's because it will raise consciousness and activate an integral brain. So basically they can see through the frontal lobe.
And it's a real thing. Like, we've got resources on our website. You can also check it out on the internet. It's not a joke.
Oh yes, I know many kids in a couple of sessions that they could see and activate all this part of the brain easily, especially from 6 to 10 years old, and smaller as well. But for them, it's normal. I mean, it's hard to detect. Well, we will make another video. And this one I really love is from Uruguay.
What do you like about it, Naomi? Development spaces for the senses.
Because there is a theory, and I learned that in Auroville in India. That was from Sri Aurobindo. The more all your senses are activated and subtle, the more your inner senses are activated and subtle. So we start with the outside senses, and we finish with the inside senses. Very nice. Cooperative activities, so everything is helping each other, and artistic games, of course. Yeah, you when your creativity can just explode, or no, explode is a war game. How to say?
But it's okay. We're not using it in that context, so.
No, sometimes I say explode, and people say, no, this is not a peace word.
Context, right? Ludic parks and patios, so parks and patios to play.
And transform them with interesting figures, like here, the 5 Platonic solids, with something you can learn from these patios. Not only, I mean, you can transform the outside environment into a learning space, and run and have fun at the same time, or climb and have fun at the same time.
So how to turn
teachers, they say yes.
How to turn something boring into a fun game 3000 or a game. Use dice.
Yeah,
use
for instance, use dice. What kind of topic we do today? We throw the dice and then, oh, this is math, but the dice said so. Or use dice with, you can turn an activity into a game just by finding how you play dice with it. And
so
it's
definitely
always
get children's attention a little bit easier, even, the presentation of an activity. Using cards.
Historically, from the beginning of time, the human being always were playing dice. It's something as an archetype. Because before, you would throw the dice with your mind, like in India, in the Bhagavad Gita. So now we just throw like that, but before it was not like that. Well, anyway, use cards. If you have cards, and you can put the entire class on the card. This is Asiri method from Peru, Asiri, A-S-I-R-I. Because it's a card, yeah, it's a game. It's Ledic.
You can also hide something,
yes.
Reach a goal cooperatively, and learn about yourself. So develop your self-knowledge. Why?
For instance, this card is about yourself. So you have an archetype. So when you learn about yourself, you want to play more and know more. No, I want to know what kind of talent I have, who I am, and it's always very catchy. And reach a goal cooperatively is very nice because it gives a lot of satisfaction and you turn it out of a game. As I told you, we win when everybody wins. So let's help each other and it's more enjoyable. This is a quite long, but it's a very interesting game. It's a physical game. It takes 1 week to play it.
What's so interesting about it, Naomi? Why do you like the World Peace Game so much?
Because it's about peace. So it's a bunch of, I mean, you see it's several levels actually, and with a lot of issues, and you have to play so you avoid the war. And in that case, it was a world war. And you have to solve a lot of issues, social issues, economic issues, environment issues, and make sure the war won't happen. Cool, very cool.
And as we can see, social, economic, environmental problems. So like if you use this in your classes or something like that as a teacher, you could still get through maybe the content of the week, but in a much more interesting, dynamic, alternative way. I don't know how many school children would have experienced something like this, but it's probably going to get them a lot more engaged and you get through the same material. It's just a different way of doing it, right?
Yes. It's by John Hunter, a real genius. And can you imagine by doing this, you have social science, history, geopolitics, you have lateral thinking because you have to find solution. It's team building because you're playing a team. Wow. Oh, it's wonderful.
It seems crazy just to have a teacher say, okay, this is what happened in this year. Like, wow, the comparison is so immense or,
yes.
or stark,
yeah.
I guess.
And this is useful. Then you can use these skills of how to solve problems. So really it helps, really, really, really. And if you don't know what to do, again, desk of card. This is a card with symbols of, it's called citation symbols. Here it's about self-knowledge. Here it's the one we saw. Always use cards. It's so, so cool. And you can do it yourself, or the children do it and the young people, and you play. Just a few words about competition versus cooperation.
Yeah, so if a game is competitive, which is fine, at least make it clear that the goal is not to crush the other person. Okay, maybe if you're playing professional sport, that's a good motivation technique, but maybe for children, it's, you know, you can still be competitive without having that desire to, you know, unless your objective is to make the most competitive children, which maybe is a sports program or something different. Also, it's about winning oneself, so self-separation. And that competitive does not mean that we can't be supportive.
Yeah, we can help each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we can transform many games into a cooperative game. And who should have fun?
So the children, the families, the teachers, we can all have fun.
Yes, everybody. Oh, entire family with TUI.
Because if it's not fun, it's probably not sustainable.
This word I really like, sustainable. Ronald Sistek, Dragon Dreaming. This is from Australia as well. And he's completely right.
So all of these videos in this series, the Level 1 series of Co-Recreating Education, you can check out on our YouTube channel, along with 21 years of work that Naomi and Education 3000 have been doing. Lots and lots and lots of information and great resources on the website. Get in touch via Facebook, Gmail, or in the comments below. What are we going to look at in the next video, Naomi? We're going to sort of continue with the theme of games, right?
Yes, we have to continue because now it's there is a lot of question about gamification, how to use the computer and the computer games in, not against education, but to
support. So we need to
supporting education. Yes, and that's an important subject, especially with this kind of mind and speed and the way of learning of the children of today and young people. So that the next video, don't miss it.
Thanks, Naomi. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Take care. See you.